I had more fun on that shoot than maybe I've ever had on a movie before or since. That was so much fun because it's also an 8-year-old boy's fantasy to play a man with a gun on his sidearm and a cowboy hat and a horse.
Yeah, and I suppose, Eric, some of those iconic sort of gun by cowboy figures like Doc Holliday, Jesse James, Billy the Kid, you would have grown up in an era of, as a teen boy, watching John Wayne movies, watching westerns, or maybe Clint Eastwood westerns. Growing up as a young boy, was that always the dream in your own time to play western movies? You get that sort of trail. And are you a fan of the old western movies? Were you a fan of the John Wayne, the Clint Eastwood sort of westerns back in the 70s?
Of course I am. In fact, one of my favorite westerns is called Red River, and that's a John Wayne. It's a classic western. But I think the western that I fell the most in love with was probably Jesse James. Which one, you might ask? There have been 12 of them. Well, I don't know. The one with Tony Curtis. That's all I can tell you. He was a very handsome Hollywood Jesse James.
And
he's how I fell in love with westerns. Tony Curtis.
Yeah, and Eric, in terms of shooting for Purgatory, you've so many roles, so many scripts come your way. What sort of stood out about this project that you made say to yourself, sign me up for this one, then I'll take part in this? Because you have so many projects thrown your way, so many scripts that you're sort of say to yourself, time, maybe, no, this is not for me. But what made you think Purgatory was for you?
Well, it's the fact that it was a western. It was a classic bad guy. I got to do my own horseback riding, and I got to work with Sam Shepard. Sam and I had known each other. We'd worked together before, so we were very good friends, and we liked each other. So hey, here we go. So we both look very forward to
it. Yeah, and Eric, in terms of the character Blackjack, sort of Britton, in terms of that, what was your sort of idea? What was your sort of take that you wanted to bring to the character in terms of how you sort of played him in terms of that? Because you'd obviously the Calvin, the sort of Guthrie sort of character, Brad Rose, Leo Dickbury, he was the bad guy turned sort of good guy, but you sort of started off sort of mellowed, but you sort of got more darker as the film went on.
Your Blackjack was not a good guy. And he was, I incorporated all the bad guys I'd grown up watching into one guy, into Blackjack. He was mean, but he was funny. He was charming. He was nasty, and he was smart. And I wanted to have all those elements in my portrayal of him.